Pleasure, Janine. Thank you for having me.
And joining me now, my all-star political panel, CPAC chairman and Republican strategist Matt Schlapp, along with Democratic strategist and principal of the Dewey Square Group, my friend Marianne Marsh. All right, you know what, Marianne, I'm going to start with you right from the get-go. It was going to be close, and, it's not as close as we thought it would be, but it seems that Donald came out with something rather interesting today. This idea of, some of the stuff he talked about, term limits, preventing them from lobbying, and we all know that the legislation in Congress that they're talking about, when they say they're going to prevent insider trading, isn't really real stuff that's going on. Isn't this stuff that the American people are interested in, irrespective of politics?
Well, sure, Judge, but the problem is that Donald Trump once again today stepped on his own message by saying things by unforced errors, by talking about the fact that the first two things he would do is he would sue his accusers and sue the media. And that's all you're hearing about tonight. So repeatedly throughout this campaign, Donald Trump, whether it was in the debates or elsewhere, says things that are unnecessary and, frankly, unpresidential, and it steps all over any good message he might have had.
And Marianne, I wonder about whether or not that's true, and I'm going to ask Matt about that, but it seems that Donald Trump can say a million things, and the only thing gets picked up is the women. But, Matt, I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, these reforms are dramatically important. What he's talking about is changing Washington. We've said this so many times together, Judge, which is people want to get the economy going. They want to defeat these terrorists, and they want to upend and change Washington. He's got to stay on these messages, and there's nothing Hillary Clinton can say about this. She is the problem. She's part of the problem. She's corruption with a capital C, and he needs to stay on these themes.
Why is she ahead of him?
Look, if you look at all these polls, okay, I think there's a lot of voters that want to put Donald Trump in timeout from time to time. They hear things they don't like, and they don't want to tell pollsters that they're going to be for him. But I do think this race is naturally going to get very tight at the end. All the demographers I respect say that, but he's got to put together a good 17, 18 days here.
Okay, and Marianne, I want to ask you about something that I recently found out about, and that is a poll called the IBD, the Investors Business Daily, which is some kind of intelligence tracking poll that apparently, has been pretty accurate. Have you heard of it, Marianne?
I have, and I know people have cited it throughout the day today in particular because it shows Trump in the lead and has accurately predicted the last three presidential elections.
Yeah, that's pretty good to accurately predict the last three. Come on, Marianne, come on.
But I think Matt made my case for me, frankly, but let's talk about the poll numbers for a moment. Over the last three debates, this went from a very close race to Hillary Clinton picking up 7 points. And there's a reason, because in the debates, when you had 50, 60, 70, 80 million people watching, they rendered their judgment. And Hillary Clinton did a very good job in those debates. And Donald Trump had his moments, but then he hurt himself repeatedly in each of those debates.
I wonder
so I think
if
one
it's
last
so
point.
much.
I think.
Go ahead.
The last point is, I think what you see now is the Clinton campaign's on offense as a result in building out more states, going to states like Arizona you wouldn't expect, and trying to bring Senate races along with them. Donald Trump's still talking to his base and really has to run the table on a very tight needle, which I think is going to be tough when he's behind in all but one and only tied in Ohio right now. Here's the
question that I have. You know what? You can say that it's the debates, but I think historically people have said, you know what? Everybody thinks their guy won the debate. Okay, it's a very subjective thing. And if anything has hurt Donald, I think that everyone's pretty sure it's like not, I think the 11th woman today coming out that Hillary teed up with the Miss Universe from 20 years ago. It seems orchestrated, but I don't know, Matt. You tell me.
Look, I think that what has hurt Donald Trump is not the debate performances. His last two have been fantastic. It's what happens after the debate performance. And what we're seeing here is he is on offense on his message, which he has not done before effectively, but he's doing it now. And the American people want any excuse, Judge, any excuse to not vote for this woman. They do not like Hillary Clinton. All the polls show it. He's just got to be a responsible alternative, and I think he's going to show that over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Now, but Matt, to your point, Matt,
yes.
If it's after the debate, then after the third debate, Donald Trump spent 3 days talking about the fact he won't accept the results of the election,
But Marianne,
and that dominated everything.
Talk about
there.
Go.
Well, he did.
First
He did.
of all,
That's a fact.
the problem with the Hillary Clinton campaign is the following. In almost all these polls we talk about, she's at about the mid-40s. She can't even come close to Barack Obama's numbers. She has definite problems as a candidate. It's the truth. So many of us would say after the October, we've never seen an October like this in the history of presidential politics, and she is having trouble putting this away. And I think that means the voters, in the end, they still are looking at Donald Trump, and I think they really want to vote for him.
And you know what I wonder, Marianne?
Yeah.
I mean, why is it that Al Gore cannot accept the results of a presidential race, but Donald Trump, when he says it and is honest, which is why a lot of Americans love him, you know, he's like, oh my God, he's going to start a revolution. You're kidding, aren't you?
So, Judge, honestly, no. I mean, that was, I think that was really unfair, the Trump campaign, to do that, because in Florida, where they had cast millions of votes, there was a discrepancy of 537 votes. That's an automatic recount. That's a recount. That's not rejecting the outcome. That's a recount. And anyone who does campaigns knows it. Anyone knows it. A recount.
Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Judge.